My name is Emily Valtz, and I'm your host for these 8 weeks from September 8th to October 27th as I interview different women who are in the creative field excelling in New York City.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's you.
Jeez.
And this is Elizabeth Renstrom, otherwise known as Liz, who I think has one of the cooler jobs. She is a photographer and photo editor of Vice, the eponymous Vice. She has shot images for publications like Time Magazine, Fast Company, The New Yorker, Nylon Magazine, Vice, of course, Yahoo Style, Refinery 29, and Bloomberg Businessweek. She is also the co-founder of Tag, an annual art journal featuring photography, drawing, poetry, and essays. Renstrom received her BFA in photography from Parsons School of Design. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you. That was like a very flattering, exhaustive summary.
I think you supplied
I really
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So for everyone who's watching out here, as you know, you're live, so you can add in any questions or comments, and we'll do our best to answer them during the course of this short interview. So today we're going to be talking with you, with Jessica Banks, who's an incredible engineer and roboticist, and with Gina Rosero, a transgender supermodel, activist, and entrepreneur. So it's a pretty amazing cultural span, and I'm really stoked to kick it off with you. And the burning question in the front of my mind is, what is the day-to-day of a Vice photo editor? I mean, this this brand has like totally revolutionized, I think, the way that we think of online media, and specifically, I think, through the imagery that comes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very exciting company to be working with, like especially in photography, because as you said, it's such an amazing visual brand, but like the ways that it became that are kind of, humble, and it's a photo department run by, one person, and with that is like an incredible amount of freedom, and I like find myself like on the day-to-day kind of, doing a balance of assigning, really young photographers to stories for the magazine and pitching and going on shoots. It's kind of a little bit of everything, and picking up assignments when I see fit for myself.
Yeah. You seem to balance this very well between your, I think, professional role, but also all of your personal practice. How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, I thought, initially when I started in this industry, which I think, every year that I'm in it, I realize how small, like, the photo world is in New York, and like what a great community is. I thought I just strictly wanted to be a photographer, but I was sort of picking up gigs, photo editing, kind of, teaching myself like what that side of it looks like. And whenever I would go freelance and just only strictly shoot, I sort of missed the photo editing aspect of it, and kind of working with photographers on their own visions. So I've like always tried to sort of do a blend, because I find it really informs my own like editorial portraiture work, because I have like a certain amount of empathy for like the brands that I'm working with and the photo editors, and I don't know, it's difficult, but it's so fun. I love doing it all.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, your personal photographic style has such a distinct voice.
Slimy.
Yeah, slimy, high contrast. For people who haven't seen it, how would you describe it?
I would say definitely that. I mean, I think with my like editorial professional work, I try to carry like that saturation over into it, and that sort of, fun, like lively sensibility, because nobody really likes having their photo taken ever, unless you maybe do.
No. It's always awkward, isn't it?
Yeah. And, like when you arrive on set, like, I like my strategy is just to have a conversation and then, capture those off moments, and sort of engage with them, in that way. So yeah, like that's sort of like my editorial forte. And then my own personal work just has a lot to do with like control and constructing like crazy still lifes that I then like to document and photograph. So like a lot of, slime, a lot of like shrines, and that sort of like, weird nostalgia is what I enjoy shooting the most.
Yeah, and it seems like you're able also to bring this. I mean, when I see the nature of Vice and specifically Vice magazine that has, even maybe before you started to incorporate photographers who also had a nod to the past working in the present. What do you think about, this is a big question and maybe a cliched question, but I'm personally interested, just the state of photography today. Because we see a lot of these, I think, shrine images, nostalgia, but also the advent of so many technologies.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, being somebody that like is looking at a gabajillion images a day and seeing how photographers sort of navigate this ever-changing industry, it's funny, like I mentioned this a couple weeks back at like Shutterstock, like I'm noticing like this return to really wanting things to look like film and like showing like that extra added effort, because like photography is so ubiquitous and everybody can be a photographer. So I feel like people are trying to prove themselves like through, you know, having that skill that it takes to be like using film and stuff like that. And also, I don't know, like in order to hustle and be a photographer today, I feel like you have to have like 4 other jobs and be your like social media guru and, you know, be able to like make GIFs and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about GIFs.
GIFs.
Yeah.
GIFs. Oh,
You
do you
love
say
them.
GIFs or do you say GIFs?
I was actually going to ask you, I was following your cue on that. You're the photographer. Is it GIF or is it GIF?
Okay, I say
World?
GIF. I know. I'm honestly, I know that like all the comments will probably be like, it's definitely GIF. But it's just something I've stuck with and like totally defended since I started making them. And I think I did just because of what I said. Like, I think when I'm thinking about shooting, I'm also thinking about how it's going to display, you know, online as a story. And honestly, who doesn't love like a jiggly photo on top of like a pretty portrait? That's sort of my strategy for making them. And there's like so much possibility like in it. And it's like, it's funny because it's like an archaic format, but it's like really coming back to life just through like Tumblr and what have you.
Tell me about the
Tumblr.
archaism, the history of the GIF. We should just say it with a French accent, I think. Le GIF.
I don't know. It's just like,
Where did it come from originally?
oh man, I don't, well, this is why I think the founder or like the person who created them called it GIF. So that's why I kind of vehemently defend it. But I don't know when the first GIF was made. I want to say like 80s. And I feel like we've just used it as a format to like communicate all sorts of different ideas like in our personal blogosphere. And I think, you know, magazines and companies have picked up on that and sort of started having it be a requirement for, you know, communicating those same sorts of like ideas and, you know, coolness. I don't know. So yeah.
And in terms of that coolness, what I'm curious about is
that edge
that you bring so well.
Oh gosh, I'm a total dweeb. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to comment on that. I think you're very cool. The work that I've seen you put out also has a very clear voice, but what would you say that your intention is? I think you're kind of in the role of cultural curator too.
Yeah.
At Vice.
Do you mean like through my personal work or just through like how I curate who I want to see at Vice?
Yeah, I think both. I'd be interested to hear the commercial side and the personal side.
I mean, at Vice, like my number one responsibility when I'm there is sort of just making really thoughtful choices about like I really consider photographers' personal projects and what they would be creating first, like as I assign. So I think I've said it, like if I know you were working on like a crazy personal series documenting clowns, like if a feature comes up that has to do with, I don't know, Insane Clown Posse, I'll just remember to assign you for that because you took beautiful portraits of. Yeah. I like to, I don't know, do pairings kind of based off of artwork rather than, you know, like this like slew of celebrities you may have shot before in your portfolio. And I think, you know, Vice is like one of those places where I have the freedom to do that, and I didn't before as much at other brands just because you know, when you're like working for older publications, like you're sort of, you know, kind of stuck to like, you know, these guidelines that they have and like what delivers for advertisers. And at Vice, it's like, you know, whatever, whatever goes. Like, and because there's only one me, there's just a lot of times I'm just like emailing a photographer to be like, I liked that you did this. Here's this. File with me in a couple of days, and we'll talk about it. Like, I like to kind of just let people go crazy.
Keep shooting clowns.
Yeah, keep shooting those beautiful clowns. And in my personal work, well, that's why I like continue to make personal work, because I think that's important, and I think a creative photo editor sort of focuses on that first and puts faith in like a crazy, you know, 19, 20-year-old who makes weird shit and thinks it can, like, you know, be applied to something more professional.
Yeah. So thinking about that 19 or 20-year-old who's on their way, right, or who's forming a body of work.
Big city.
Totally. Our eyes are twinkling as we gaze out onto NYC.
Yes.
What did you do to get, like, how did you continue to develop your artistic voice, and how do you continue to do that today?
I mean, I think it's through a lot of trial and error. Like, when I first made the series that sort of not put me on the map but got me into magazines, I was actually like consciously, like, I was really looking at like what images were being the most reblogged on Tumblr at the time, and I thought it'd be funny to like make kind of mashups of what I thought would be most successful on that platform. And I think just consuming that and like also just being a part of this community and like really seeing the trends helps really inform me to, I don't know, try and make different.
Yeah. Consume, respond, make.
Consume, respond, make. Well, yeah, I mean, like, it can be a little nerve-wracking because there's, again, like a lot of photographers in this town.
Yeah.
So I think just for me, it's always been like making it as weird as as I can in like my, you know, still life stuff.
Yeah. Did your inner child want to do this when you began? What did you think you would be when you were small?
I had like the most cliche inner child job. I definitely wanted to be a marine biologist or a paleontologist.
Why do we all want to do that?
I don't know. I mean, for me, it was a mashup of Jaws and Jurassic Park, early viewing.
Yeah.
But you know, as time wore on, I like had a really like supported interest in the arts, and I originally wanted to like, go into illustration, but I thought photography would be a more viable career path, and which is funny to think, but yeah, I don't know. My inner 15-year-old thought I wanted to do this. Inner child still sort of wants to swim with dolphins. Yeah.
Don't we all?
I think I see it in your eyes that you do too.
I do. I also wanted to be a marine biologist.
No
way.
way.
I don't know what that's about. Every young child.
Yeah.
What I am also curious about is
tangent. Geez.
There we go, and we're back. Did you see so much content on an everyday basis?
Yeah.
What are you tired of seeing?
Kind of a little bit. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
I really get sort of sick of seeing lifestyle photography and like photography specifically made sort of to communicate, I don't know, like this fake, I don't know, brand, or like just I don't know, I call it like the blogger laugh, like that sort of like really strained, natural sort of like photography. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
I think in working in magazines, like, that became a huge trend, like, girl laughing, like, girl jumping, like, tampon commercial, like, sort of imagery, and I think working at Vice has been a really big escape from that for me, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to sell anything, like, for the... You know what I mean? Like, the magazine is pretty open, like, so... That's been really cool.
What do you think is the strangest thing that you've been able to make at Vice or in your personal practice?
I'm trying to think of upcoming shoots. We're doing like a 5 creative ways to die editorial for Halloween, but that's not that's the weirdest thing I've made. I Man, I've worked on so much insane stuff this year with photographers and been able to collaborate on so many great things. That's hard.
This Halloween issue sounds like it might take the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I have something for
Sorry.
you.
Yeah.
We will now stop our conversation.
Yeah. I shut that
No.
down. Sorry.
That said, I do every show, I make a wrap for the guest.
Oh.
That's you. So WRAP stands for Women, Recipes, Art, and Process.
That's awesome.
And this one, I was thinking through.
Is it spooky?
Yeah. You should probably make it spooky. So I'm collaborating with my friend Alicia Walters, who's a chef down at Once Upon a Tart, and we were brainstorming about it. And I said, I think Liz is super high contrast, obviously kind of graphic in nature, like graphic design, a little flat, but also this slime thing is interesting.
Oh God.
So we made you a unique wrap. I have to lean to go get it.
Thank you for considering those things.
Oh, yes. So
Oh my God.
this is your wrap totem. It is high
Wow.
contrast. Yeah, I'm going to read. There's also a slimy dipping sauce in the back that is really delicious. And what we have for you here today, Liz's wrap: red pepper as the wrap material, cauliflower, carrots, charred radishes, harissa, yogurt, honey, and paprika.
That's all in here?
Yeah.
Man.
So this thing should be high contrast. I think,
Yeah.
like your images. It's a synesthetic approach. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's kind of totemic, so maybe you also want to do something with it as a still life.
I'm gonna put it against some amazing backdrop and send you a
Yeah.
DM later. Oh
But
man.
it is definitely edible, so you should also enjoy that
I
process.
know. I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna approach this, but I'm really excited.
I'm really
I
glad.
don't want to break it down. It's beautiful.
Do what you will with it. You can follow, maybe it'll show up on Instagram
Yes,
somewhere.
I know.
You can definitely follow Elizabeth Renstrom.
Yeah, my first instinct is drawing a face on the saran wrap prior.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
I look
just-
forward to this creative adventure.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I think there's maybe a last bit of recipe. Do you do any one thing every day that keeps your creativity going?
I think every morning I have my 5 to 10 minute scroll of all of I think what every creative professional does, I aggregate all my favorite photo blogs and sites, and I do a little catch up with myself for 5 minutes before the insanity of the day. And yeah, sometimes I'll just do call outs around a theme just to get new images in from new people and see what people are creating for the magazine that I do too. So yeah, I don't know. Just looking at more images. Yeah.
Look at more, consume
Yeah.
more. Thus the metaphor of the
Yeah.
wrap works.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Liz.
Yeah,
It's
of
been a
course.
pleasure chatting with you
Thank
on this
you.
platform.